Okay, hey, everybody. You're listening to the Phi Pro podcast my name's Griffin Day, and I'm a college student. And I'm making this podcast for my final project for English 3490. And what I'm here to talk about, this is, podcasts are about things, and I've got a lot to talk about. And what I have to talk about is The Familiar, the novel by Mark Danielewski, and Reddit.com. Everybody's heard of Reddit.com. Maybe everybody hasn't heard of The Familiar, but if you guys haven't, you should really pick it up. It's not available to the common folk, unfortunately. But, I was able to pick up an advance copy because my assistant, Anne Hathaway, I told her she was going to get fired if she didn't. So she got a copy, 2 copies, one for each of my twins, so they could read it on the train to Grandma's house. No, I'm just kidding. That's from The Devil Wears Prada, but I got it for my English class, so I'm going to talk about it now. Okay. So, basically, they're really similar in the way that they're both kind of multifaceted, kind of amalgamations of a bunch of different people's viewpoints. I think that's the best way to say it, because in Reddit.com is kind of, they have their user ship is all over the map. You'll see people on there from Canada, England, all kinds. I've seen stats where the usership is actually it's like 50-50, 50% Americans, 50% non-Americans. But the other 50% is made up of, so many countries. So, yeah, you'll see people from all over the place in the same way that, The Familiar is made up of all kinds of different narrators from all kinds of different cultural backgrounds. Just off the top of my head, there's like Jing, who's, I don't know how to say this without being offensive, Asian. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't want to be offensive because I'm not sure exactly where he's from. But yeah, we've got Jing, we've got Hopi, we've got Xanther and her family, who are, there's some kind of, I don't know, Middle Eastern, I believe, Anwar and Aster. But yeah, and so their narratives kind of combine to form this, this product that the reader can kind of choose to analyze as they wish. And there's all kinds of pictures and all kinds of different stuff in there. In the same way that Reddit is kind of, a collection of posts, or, basically viewpoints, the same vein as The Familiar, the thoughts and experiences of people from all over the place, kind of one place, and you can analyze them how you want. You can do whatever you want on Reddit. You can go wherever you want. You can choose what you want to see. So in that way, they're really multifaceted and similar. We've got the Narcons watching over people in The Familiar in the same way that the mods kind of watch over Reddit. They'll ban people, if they don't like what you have to say. It's happened to me a bunch of times. I'm controversial. Not just in my pronunciation. The first thing that I think we should do, it's kind of like a little game. It's a little party game. Hold on, let me grab my book here. That's dead air. We gotta cut that out. Okay, I don't know if we have that capability. Okay, anyway, so I'm just going to click on Reddit. You can do a random, it can take you to a random subreddit. It's just a little button at the top. If you go to reddit.com, random, it takes you to a random subreddit. So, what it took me to was I just clicked on it. It says my reaction when, or reddit.com/RMRW. That means my reaction when. Here to translate for maybe an older listener. So it's all kinds of, these are really funny. It's all kinds of pictures. It's like my reaction when I eat too much Taco Bell, and it shows like a Jawbreaker exploding in the microwave. So obviously that's kind of a diarrhea reference. So we just kind of get it's a link to a subreddit devoted to a random meme. Okay. So and analogous to that, since we're comparing Reddit and The Familiar, we just did a random subreddit. Now I'm going to do a random page in The Familiar, kind of. I'm just going to flip open to a random page. Okay. And what I got here was, okay, I'm on page 634, and it's a picture of kind of this pictogram type thing. Page 634. It's just like a globe made out of, it's like the orb, a depiction of the orb, of course, but it's made out of words. And, it's kind of like art. It's kind of like graphic design. It's kind of maybe not something you would regularly see in a novel. So I think it just goes to show, either one, you open it up, you never know what you're going to get, because they're so multifaceted. Just if you were to click on any user, you could maybe find out where they were from, but it could be anywhere, in the whole world. In the same way for The Familiar, a lot of it seems to take place in Los Angeles or Southern California or something. But you never know what ethnic background somebody could be. You could open up to Hopi, you could open up to Xinjiang, you could open up to Xanther, and you got a kind of higher possibility of that because she's the star. But yeah, you get the idea. Yeah, okay, so basically, I'm gonna kind of finish this off with I have another segment that I thought up. It's called, the good and the bad, the good and the bad, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Except I tried to leave most of the ugly out. This isn't a video. Okay, anyway. So this is where we compare reviews of The Familiar, culled from Goodreads.com, to reviews of Reddit, which is from SiteJabber. Okay, so I'm going to try to pick a good and a bad review for each of these two things. Okay, so there's not too many because obviously like we talked about before, The Familiar is not it's not out for everybody yet. You kind of have to be a special snowflake to read it now. So, there's not too many reviews to choose from, but there are some here on this site. So, if I could just find them. I know they were here just a second ago. Okay, here we go. All right, we'll start with the most positive review. Okay, it says, thundering through the skull like a frenetic synaptic thunderstorm, Danielewski's prose crackles and rumbles deep within your core, sparking and pistoning heart swells into beats that whump against fragile ribs. I cannot wait to meet Oriah. So that seems like a pretty positive review. This person is excited. They're waxing poetic, for sure. Okay, and then here's kind of the most negative review I found. It says, this book is big. This book is ambitious, it's challenging and experimental and impressionistic. I have nothing against big, ambitious, challenging books, but I really disliked this. Mark Z. Danielewski is apparently going to publish 27 volumes of this story, and once I found that out, it really helped to make sense of this book. It has the feel of a television pilot, struggling to introduce the themes and diverse cast of characters it features, while never really getting into the meat of the story. In television, that might cost you 40 minutes. This takes 4 days minimum. I know Danielewski has his hardcore fans. I personally have never read House of Leaves, but I find it hard to believe that people will be willing to invest this much time and effort into a story that, quite frankly, has no real hook. That's harsh criticism here. Danielewski is obviously a talented writer. His play with form and the writing itself can be quite impressive, but I'm checking out. I wish him luck and hope those that stay with the story find the rewards. I could not. Ouch. Okay. Why do people feel the need to be so negative? It's like they say, because I'm Griffin Day, college student, in my management class, they say that, you only hear from the disgruntled people, when the people that are going to go online and leave a review, a lot of times, they're the unhappy ones. The happy people are too busy being happy, playing with their children, going to barbecues, stuff that happy people do. While, these online people, they're just inside their houses. They're just waiting to write a bad review because they want attention. So I don't think Mark should put too much stock into what these people on Goodreads say, but, you know, they make some good points. Okay, so here we go to the Reddit reviews. A good one here. Okay, it says the default subreddits are not a good indication of the breadth of content available on the site. For best results, sign up for an account and then curate your subreddit. So that's good advice. Basically, if you don't like what you see, customize it and don't complain. I think that's good. And then, you know, I think the worst review here is probably, it just says very shitty website and discriminative. So that's harsh criticism. Yeah, so you see, even in those 4 reviews that I just read, we had one who criticized Danielewski's kind of his breadth. He kind of said maybe he bit off more than he could chew, and there's no hook. Similar to the person that said that you know, you have to customize your experience and maybe focus on the characters that you do like, or focus on the subreddits that you do like, because maybe if you try to absorb everything, you know, you're not going to have the best time, like they say on South Park. You're going to have a bad time. So yeah. But I think those 2 activities, kind of, you know, little party games, whatever you want to call them, I think they kind of formed an interesting interplay between The Familiar and Reddit.com that maybe you couldn't get in an academic paper. So that's my podcast here. I hope it wasn't too long. I am a Griffin Day college student. This is my English 349 final project called the Phi Pro Podcast, or the Phi Pro Podcast. Makes it sound like it's about Edgar Allan Poe. It's not. Okay, anyway, so this is me signing off. I hope you liked it, or at least didn't hate it. Thanks.